Okay, if you can hear this, go ahead and put a thumbs up, a hello, a something in the chat. Testing audio. Hello. I got new music. How is everybody? I think things are working. Great. Only the logo showing. Okay. Yep. Yep. I was hesitant to go ahead and start it, so I tentatively just started talking to see if anyone could hear me. So, hi Mary, hi Fred. Happy to see y'all again. This is fun getting to, a regular group of people here. I actually posted it on Facebook this time, so maybe, I don't actually publicize this thing as much as I should. It's kind of fun seeing who actually finds it organically on YouTube, though. So, y'all are the select group that always are here, front and center, on time, whatever time you get here. So welcome. How are y'all? My Tuesday is Tuesdaying, so it's the first week of school for us. So I'm a little scatterbrained today. I think I say that every week, though. Maybe my true colors are actually showing at this point, that I'm just always scatterbrained a little. Hi, Fred. Yep, y'all are regulars, Mary. I like it. I appreciate that. If I could give y'all like little kudos or something. I think YouTube has it now where the top commenters get like a little crown next to their name. So that's what y'all get for now. School starts today. So I officially have a third grader, and I thought I would be a lot more excited about school starting, but honestly, I'm a little bummed that she's not home, which is weird because half the day I'm just like, oh, this mental load of having another person to take care of, even though she doesn't take any effort, and she's just, I go watch TV with her during lunch, and then she entertains herself during the, when they're 8, 9, they're not that hard anymore, and so it's a little odd missing her during the day. I mean, I do kind of like her, I guess, but yeah, so that started today. I think one of the other school districts starts tomorrow. Half our team has tomorrow school starting, and half our team has today. So I have my Calgary mug, so representing our international office. So hello to anyone from our international office watching up in Canada. I really shouldn't be drinking any more coffee. Hello, Mom. Tracy's mom checking in. Yes, happy to see you here also. Hope you are feeling better. Wait till the teen years. Oh gosh, yeah. I feel like I already have one. I have one of those 8-year-olds that is pretty much 16. And I can only imagine what 16 is actually going to be like. So, good thing I have just the one to keep my hands busy with. This decided that the company is my other child, and then all my employees are my other children. So okay, gotta get back in the game for this. Mom, you're getting lots of highs. Hi, Tracy's mom. Hi, Alice. Okay. So I have one question that I get asked quite a bit that I wanted to cover. So I was going to start with that one. And then I have a personal question. I was staring out the window, looking at my garden, questioning this. So I'm going to put this out to y'all because I feel like this is where the internet is useful, of random questions like this. Does anyone happen to know if passion vines like some of them fruit and some of them don't. Because I'm 100% sure I have a passion vine that flowers out the wazoo for multiple years now, and I've never seen a passion fruit, but I know that passion vines have fruit. So I don't know if it's like male female thing, but if anyone has information on that, I know that you did not come here for gardening questions, but that is my question I'm putting out there today. But anyway, I will get on to the actual oil and gas stuff. Okay. So the question that I wanted to cover, just abruptly transition, is how do people know what I own? So, a lot of people get questions in the mailers and things that they get sent their way, and how do they know what I own if I barely know what I own? And so if they're sending a letter saying, hey, you own these things, and you we want to pay you this much for it, and we think you have this many net royalty acres because of X, Y, and Z, like, where is that information coming from? And where I am right now is, so, okay, this all assumes Texas or a state that has ad valorem taxes, because that is the, okay, sorry, quick side note. Mary says, that's a question for Mr. Google on the passion fruit. I've Googled it. I think I'm Googling the wrong thing. I'm usually really good at, like, hunting down information online. Like, to a concerning point, I can find stuff. But I don't know, something about this one, maybe I'm just in denial. Okay, sorry, back to this. So something that a lot of people don't know is that in Texas, every single county has an open data, like, situation, we'll just call it, when it comes to what you're paying on your taxes. And that includes minerals, because in Texas, you pay taxes on producing minerals. So a producing mineral is something where oil and gas is coming out of the ground. That's just, it's what it sounds like. So if you have land and you own the minerals, but there's no oil and gas coming out of the ground, then you don't owe taxes on it. You can't lose it for not paying taxes in Texas. Other states are different. And because of that, if it's not producing, they can't find you. But if it is producing, they can find you. And so, actually, I'm pointing this way because it's this way on my computer, but it's this way here. So I'm in Upton County for right now, just as an example. And so if you were to search just last name, first name, something here, then you might get what you're looking for, but that's kind of going about it different than how the buyers are doing. What the buyers are doing when they send out those mass mailers, and there's obviously companies that will aggregate all of this together and put them into like a giant Excel spreadsheet and format it exactly to what would like print out onto their mailers and insert the first name in there and all those things. But this is where that data is coming from. So in each county, it's placed a little different, and different counties have different histories available. But with this one, I should also say, hi, my name is Tracy. I'm a petroleum engineer. I'm the owner of Pecan Tree. We are an oil and gas appraisal firm, and we do mineral appraisals, both custom, white glove, and DIY. So we have our app, which is at pecanestimate.com or pecantreeog.com. You can find us at. And yeah, we're independent, and we're like an independent appraiser of oil and gas. So all things value-based we are covering today, and anything Q&A on that. So if you have any question on what oil and gas is, what appraisals cover, what we cover, something you got in the mail, something that you want to cover, we can talk about that today. So, sorry, I did not introduce myself. I just kind of like hopped into passion fruit, and here we are. So, yeah, back to here. So I just searched for name of county CAD, right? So Upton County CAD. And Upton is a county in Texas, obviously. So first link was the county appraisal here. And if you just search through here, you might not exactly find it right away. But what you're looking for is there's going to be something that says like records, data, reports. And for this particular case, we're looking at this records and data. And a lot of times the counties will list it with something like records or download rolls or something like that. So we'll go to the records and I'll show you where it is here. So the mineral appraisal stuff is usually way down at the bottom. And so all of this stuff here is usually related to the surface property stuff. So if you're not finding it up here, that's because it's usually just the houses that are up here. All the exemptions and worksheets, and what we want to get to is the certified rolls. And in that certified rolls, there's several different listings. So Upton has actually quite a few years available. So if you need to go back several years, that's an option. Usually there's maybe 2 years max. But what we're looking for is something called a mineral appraisal roll. And if you get someone saying that they look and found you on the mineral rolls, this is what they're talking about. The mineral rolls are the public filing of all the different owners that are paying taxes on different producing properties. And it only really applies to the royalty and revenue interest. You can't tell who the working interest owners necessarily are. Although it will usually say what type of interest it is. It's not as clear cut how much they're paying in operating expenses. But if you were to open this up, and do I want to open it up? Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. It'll download a zip file, and let's see. You can see all my history of stuff I've downloaded. That's fine. We are transparent here. And you get all the listing of, so you'll get all of a lot of times they'll include the individual like mailers that are sent out. I've seen counties that had every single person's PDF was listed individually in the zip file. But usually there's a CSV, which is just a comma separated values file that you can open up in Excel or something. And they're really big. Like it's you just gotta give it time on your computer to open. But this will have all the owners listed out, what wells they're in, what decimal interest they're paying, what the county appraised value is. And I won't like dig into any specific owners one in here, but just letting you know, if you are paying taxes on a well in Upton County, your name is in this list. Also, your address is in this list. And the only reason it wouldn't be in this list is if you have it going to a trust, or if you have it going to an agency that is, or a mineral manager, or someone who is managing your minerals or taking those payments, or if they don't have the correct address on file, sometimes it will just say like no address on file. And that's a good way to see if people can find you, right? Because if there's no address on file at the county, that probably means that something got lost along the way. And that's a good place to do some DIY searching for if you inherited from a certain name and you're not sure all of those things made it to your name. You can go on to the county records if there's producing wells and see if anything is still left in that person's name. Because if the county still thinks that that person owns it, then that probably means that the operator hasn't told the county that something changed. And typically the workflow is that the operator starts. Sorry, y'all are making me laugh. Mary says oil, gas, and botanical information. And thank you, Fred, for this information. Passion vines do not always produce fruit, as some varieties are ornamental, and even fruit-bearing types require specific conditions: sun, pollination, and long enough growing season to mature fruit. Well, we definitely have A, B, and C there. So I'm guessing I might just have an ornamental version. It's very pretty. It's beautiful if y'all haven't seen a passion vine. I just really wanted to try the fruit, but anyway. And then, yeah. Y'all are funny. Okay, sorry. Back on this. Yeah, so typically the workflow goes that the operator who drills the well lets the county know who all the owners are in that well. And that's also a place where I find a lot of wrong information is if your original division order was sent out and there was an error in it, that you'll probably get that fixed with the operator, but sometimes that information doesn't make it to the county. So the county will still have the old information, so you'll be paying taxes on the wrong number there. So that's something to check whenever you're doing your annual like tax review. Like check your decimal interest, check your well lists, check your operate. Like just check through that it's matching up with what you're getting paid. So that is my short and sweet on oil and gas county taxes. Let's see. Fred says, we're in Upton County and I found all that information on there along with the other owners. Great information. Yeah, it's both helpful and a little concerning how much information you can get on people these days. I sometimes get clients who don't provide us enough information either on who they are or what they're looking for, or maybe they ghost us for payment. We still have, oh, wait. I just got a notification that something disconnected. Hello? Okay, I got a notification that it disconnected for a second, but I think we're back. Maybe? Why does it seem like it's frozen again? Oh, okay. We're back. Okay, we're going to assume we're back. All right, thanks, y'all. Fun stuff. Well, hello, Martha. I don't know if you heard me say hello, but hi, welcome. We're taking live questions. If you have any questions you'd like to throw out there, we still have openings for questions. It froze twice. Yeah, I thought it might have. I got one notification, but I'd never gotten that notification before, so I didn't know what to look for. They're installing Google Fiber all around our neighborhood, and I just blame everything on that. So, sorry, I do the best I can. Okay, Mary says, let me just go back to here. Good topic. We're having difficulty in Tyler County, West Virginia. Seems Intero hasn't yet sent their information to Tyler County. Yay, cousin Martha is here. Okay, so that's your cousin. Got it. Hello, cousin Martha. Yeah, they can take a while. And usually it's not uncommon for me to see multiple year delays between something coming online and it hitting the county records. That's also a reason to double check if you're getting offers that they are including everything that you own and not to just assume that they know everything that you own, because if they're just going off of what's on public record and they're just going off of those mineral rolls and half of the operators in that county haven't reported yet that you own something, then they might not even know that you own it enough to offer it. And considering that some of these offers have county-wide coverage of what they're buying from you, like, oh, we're buying everything in this county from you, you really want to make sure that they're including everything if you do in fact want to take one of those offers, which I don't recommend, but if you do, yeah. Okay, let's see. So we have our little sponsored segment real quick, which I told my team I would throw in. So we had some cool features that rolled out on our app that it's sponsored by us. This is a sponsored by us question. Real quick first though, Martha has been going down many rabbit holes to find an attorney to help us. It's really hard to find a good oil and gas specialist, especially when you need to find someone very state specific. I might be able to hunt down some people that can help with that. I know some West Virginia contacts that might have some good names. I can send that after the stream's over. So I wanted to just point out we have 2 new features on our app. And the first one is okay, a missized thing. Right. You know what? This is, I wish I could make this. There we go. Okay. So we have a brand new dashboard for our portfolios. So as y'all might know, maybe not, we have a subscription product called Pecan Portfolio, which allows you to track and manage your properties. It's less formal than like an accounting system. There's accounting software that can track each and every like dollar in, dollar out. This is to make sure you have all the right wells and you're keeping track of the things that are important, and you have access to like our insights on different areas and alerts and notifications and value insights, similar to like a Carfax or a Kelly Blue Book or a Zillow's estimate on your property, but for oil and gas. So this is our Pecan Portfolio. We have a brand new dashboard as of today. So this is thank you to our wonderful developer, JD. So she made our dreams come true by rolling out our dashboard here. So we have the map, which we have the grand plans for everything on here, but this is all your properties rolled up into one summary. Oh yeah, see Whitney also showed that if you put a emoji in the chat, it'll like bounce around on the screen. But anyway, that's squirrel, sorry. So when you have a Pecan Portfolio, all your tracks will be rolled up into here, and you can see them all in, like for this example property, you can zoom in. It's a live map that you can zoom around and click on. Sound is breaking up. Oh no. I guess this is just one of those days, huh? Let me check my settings real quick. See if there's anything I can do. Stream health. It says stream is healthy. Excellent connection. So hopefully it doesn't get worse if it is. Sounds working. Squirrel, yes. Yes. Okay, but that's what we're here for, right? This is lunch hour. This is fun free time. So okay. So we're getting a couple. I'm just gonna say that sound is working and the little things are fun. And okay. Cool. So we'll go with that. Again, if anyone has a question, like again, we're very, very casual today. Feel free to throw in even the silly questions. I would love to handle silly questions today. Okay. So one thing on here that we're really excited about is being able to show more of our value wave and track insights, which are unique to us, something that we're rolling out more of. Being able to explain what you own more in financial terms, like this is something that's very early stage, this is late stage. If this is your value, like how things will peak over time, like how many of your properties are on the front end, on the back end, like they're all peaking now, like where are you, how much is the different types of interest, where all your alerts are coming from. So if there's rig activity, revenue outlook, tracked valuation, you know, we have all the high level stuff in here. So we're really excited about some of these new visualizations of all the data. There's so much data behind the scenes. It's one of the hardest things is figuring out how to make it simple enough that it's not overwhelming, but detailed enough that it describes the full story. So it's a constant, you know, thing that we're trying to find a good balance on, and finding different ways to visualize things and parse it out in a way that is meaningful and helpful and not misleading or too much. So we also have file management coming soon. So if you wanted to include your leases, or this is how we're going to be communicating reports back and forth with our clients. The other cool thing that we have is permission sharing. So let's say that this is your portfolio that you built and you want to share it with your brother or cousin or a buyer or mineral manager or lawyer, or accountant, whoever. You can go into the portfolio settings, and in the portfolio settings, like you can change the image thumbnail for the portfolio, change the description. You can add tracks and remove tracks to it as you want to create or swap things out. But what we're looking at here is permissions. So all you have to do is just add their email, and once you add their email, then that makes it to where they can either view it or they can edit it and view it. And then you have, as long as one person's paying for it, this is all just as of the day of the video, all these things. If one person's paying for that portfolio, then you can add people to it. And we're monitoring things to see how much usage people are having. But for right now, if you just want to share with a friend, a family member, cousin, this is where you would do it. So now there is a way, if you're managing multiple portfolios for multiple clients, if you're helping out a neighbor, if you're wanting to just separate things into multiple, like this is my family's assets, this is just mine, you can share the family's assets and keep yours separate. So I was real excited to see this. This is a lot of stuff in the background that had to be done foundationally. So Jason is the other programmer and co-founder. I guess he's kind of important in the company. Also brother. So yeah, he did a great job on this, and I'm really excited about having this as an option now, especially on my end. I hop between all of them all the time. So then we also have it where you can see all the wells that are in that portfolio. We'll list out the current operator. We'll list out the reservoir status. There's a lot more columns that are over this direction. Last production date, estimated revenue, like based on your amount that's in there, and our estimated market value for that well. So you can sort it by operator, by status, by county, by state, all those things. So I'm very proud of our team, and I just like to show off every now and then, especially as the premier sponsor of this video. So back to office hours. Okay. Fred says, if an operator has been drilling horizontal wells and it seems to have slowed down to a crawl or even stopped, is that typical? Or in this climate, price-wise, would that be an issue? And then a follow-up to that, or if they found a better area to drill and focus their attention there. There's a couple things that could be happening. So if I pop back up the first part of the question there. The first thing that could be happening is that they met a drilling requirement that they had for that area. Like maybe there's a continuous drilling clause, or they are testing a certain bench in which is a layer of the earth, which is a bench. They're testing the productivity of that. Or maybe they, right next to their acreage was a well that was drilled in a certain reservoir, and they're trying to protect their side of the reservoir by drilling an offset well and filling out that so there's no depletion that they're having to maintain competition against. Let's see. It probably goes in waves regardless. The economy, it's not like it's throwing in those, the economy these days type of situations. But if you think about how long it takes between looking at a map and pointing to it as a geologist and saying, here's a great area, to actually getting a drilling rig on it and drilling, it's several months at a minimum. And so if you think about what was happening several months to a year ago, it's probably a much different political climate, like regardless of the year. And political, commodity prices, world events, the individual companies, like status, things that they're drilling, their individual cash flow. Sometimes they'll drill an area, wait for results, and they'll go elsewhere while they're waiting for the results of those wells to come in. And they'll go elsewhere, drill those wells, fulfill those commitments, come back if that area was good, and then continue and drill those wells if it's good. Or maybe they're fine tuning the completion and the spacing. And so they'll do a test area to see, maybe they'll run some extra science with those wells. There's microseismic they could do, there's tracers, there's different experiments they could be doing with artificial lift, like how they're getting the water back out of the ground once they pump all that water in the ground with the frack. So they have to, when they pump all that water in the ground in order to like explode the rock, they actually have to get that most of that water back out of the ground. And there's a certain threshold usually before that reservoir will start producing oil and gas along with the oil, along with the water. And so the faster and the more responsibly they can get that water off the reservoir, the more oil and gas it can start producing. So there's a lot of experimentation with that aspect of it. But yeah, usually it's obligations of some type. There's a lot of leases that have requirements these days that has to be a well drilled every 90 days, or maybe they have 2 years to drill a certain lease, and so they're managing their schedule to where they can fit in all of the exact placement of the wells in order to fit all the exact lease terms without having to release that. Like there's a lot of planning that ends up happening. Maybe there's an issue with getting a permit for a certain area because they're having to fight for operatorship because there's 2 different operators that think that they should be the operator. And as soon as they get the approval on that, they have to jump over there in order to fulfill that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into a drill schedule. There's some companies, Viper, for example, which basically has a drill schedule for, is it Diamondback, I believe? Yeah, they're both snakes. So yeah, they have a very direct partnership with Diamondback. And so Viper is a mineral buying company and Diamondback is an operator. And so they strategically buy minerals where they know that Diamondback's rigs are going, which I still don't fully understand how that's not like some type of monopoly or whatever the correct terminology is for it. But they're very public about what they're doing, so I'm sure it's not illegal. I don't know. Not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. It just feels weird, right? But so they have access to that, and that is a really big strategic advantage for them because they know what's happening next and where they're going next, and where is a good plan to buy ahead of that drill bit. Because anybody who owns minerals knows that as soon as there's a permit, as soon as there's a new rig, there's going to be a slew of offers thrown your way because people want to buy things that are producing. So, Brad, you say, this is COG. I guess you could try to contact them. Is their drill schedule public online, maybe? No, that's usually kept pretty well under wraps unless you know someone. Sometimes they'll give you some insight as to when they're going to drill your acreage. Hey, Crystal. Oh, I have a dog that joined me, but you can't see her. But yeah, sometimes they'll give you insight if you ask them. Like, that's fine. A lot of times those bigger ones will not give you information. It's really hit or miss on the bigger ones. I mean, honestly, it's hit or miss on the smaller ones too. But sometimes on the Mineral Rights Forum or some, like, I know there's a Haynesville forum. There's other forums out there. You can find people who are in the know, or they're a landman that worked that prospect, or they have some inside scoop, or they know somebody. I mean, it's a small industry. People talk. So that's probably the only way you come about it. The other way you could back into it if you're savvy with data analysis by looking at where they've been drilling and kind of seeing their trends and where they're most likely to be drilling. Okay, do I need to worry about mowers? No, I think I'm good. Sorry. Squirrel. Yeah, no, I think going by permits is probably the closest approximation for drill schedule. And then guessing. Okay. Have y'all received any weird questions from operators lately? Any weird correspondence? Or has everything been pretty normal? I'm just curious if they've sent any things in the mail, like offers or notifications, or I know that there's you get pooling orders sometimes if you're in a state that has pooling, and you'll get the normal division orders and the normal like energy link statements or whoever is sending their statements. But I'm always curious to see like when there's something weird that will pop up. So let me know if y'all have gotten anything weird. We can also look at that too. Okay. Mary says, no, we haven't been contacted by anyone. Okay. Yeah, normally it's enough hassle to contact people that it's only when there's normal things or certain things that they will. I'm just, sometimes they try things. Let's see. Do we want to look at anything just for fun? Let's look at oil price. No, wait. So oilprice.com. It's kind of where I go for a lot of just quick stuff. Although I think every time I go to a news source, I go to a different one when I'm live streaming. Maybe that should be something I'm aware of. But I really just subscribe to all of them, and then I see it come in through my email. Let's see. Crude, it is at $63. Uh-oh, I just saw something happen. Nope. Okay, no drop frames. We're good. Okay. Natural gas is down. Yeah. So we're having kind of a slump. I haven't actually looked into what's happening. Oh, OPEC July oil output was lowered. Really, girl? Sorry about that. Okay, so oil output was lower than the planned hike. So that's actually a good thing for oil. Well, okay. It's a good thing for people who are getting paid based on oil production. It's bad for people who are, like truck drivers. It means oil prices will probably be a little higher. But yeah, I haven't looked into why oil prices are down. Oh, another big news was that Inveris, which is a big data provider, sold to, was it Blackstone for $6 billion? Yeah, no longer a small company, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot on my list today. Let's see, what's Baker? No, that's not how you spell it. Use rig count. Last I saw, rig count was doing what we thought it would do, where it's going down. Because ever since April, it's still on that same trend. Mary says, if natural gas is down, could that be why our checks were 20% lower this month? Maybe not decrease in production. Yeah, that's definitely, let me, just so I don't accidentally, let me switch to here, and then I'll pull it up. Alright, I'm suspicious on if I need to go close my dog door or not. If the mowers are here. They come at the worst time. Okay. Yeah, let me pull up the commodity pricing. Because I had that open. Okay. Okay, so green is oil, red is gas. So if we're just looking at gas, because you're West Virginia, I mean, I'm assuming you're in the gassy area of West Virginia. There's not many oily areas. Yeah, gas. This scale probably makes it look better than it is, but this up here would be the January, February value of 419. And as of May, which is probably, let's see, August, July. Yeah, so you're probably getting paid on May production because there's usually a 2-month lag at least. Usually 3 probably for gas and 2 for oil. Yeah, you probably went from a $4 down to a $3 price point. And this is just Henry Hub. And so I'm not actually allowed to show the historical for the different hubs, but the individual hub. So in the hub being Marcellus Shale Field. Yeah, that's the West Virginia is the Marcellus. Yeah, there's some areas, little pockets of oil, but it's mostly gas. So that your West Virginia like unique little area has its own supply and demand for gas because gas is hard to transport large distances, and so in the cold months, gas is worth more because it's cold and people are using it for heating, which sounds funny to me, like just being in the South. Like, I don't know. I don't really naturally think of the winter needing lots of energy. Like the summers where you need the energy, but I know most of the country is not like that. So in the winter is why we have like these little humps, and you have a hump every time it's winter because of supply and demand in the cold states. So anytime that there's, you should naturally think, oh yeah, okay, Whitney, I'll highlight that. You should naturally think of winter now since you tune in every day to Canada. I don't know, Whitney. It was beautiful when I went up there, and I don't know what you're talking about. You always seem so cold, and yet it was like 65 degrees when I was up there in June. But yeah, that's probably a good part of what's happening because in any of those East Coast areas, it's more pronounced, even more so than this plot here, because this plot is what gas is trading at in southern Louisiana. So it's the Henry Hub, which is why it's the Henry Hub spot price. It's the southernmost tip of Louisiana, and it's just where a large volume of traffic goes through. So similar to West Texas Intermediate, it's just a benchmark that's become industry standard for what things are worth. And your unique gas price is probably starts there, but then has a differential that swings higher and lower based on that individual market. Fred asks, is Canada buying any gas from us now? I don't actually know. Whitney, do you happen to know? You're the Canadian. All right, I'm in the South. Should move north to use more gas for royalty's sake. Yeah, and then if you have an oil well, just go ahead and buy a big truck, right? Let's see. Yeah, how far south are you, Mary? Like really, like all the south? the fun hot south, I imagine. Let's see. Whitney says, "Let me check. They were as of last quarter." Um, yeah, the Bakken right up there. There really is a limit to. Let me see what I can. I have my messy map, but I think I can quickly get to something not as messy. Y'all are seeing behind the scenes now. Let me turn off some stuff. So here is the different basins. And right now we're just zoomed in on, this is the Permian Basin. So we have the Delaware on the left and the Midland Basin on the right. And then in the middle is a platform that was a beautiful coral reef back in the day. And then if we continue zooming out, here's what the whole U.S. looks like in terms of basins and things that are of interest. And so here's the Eagle Ford and stuff. Here's the Henry Hub is roughly around here. I always have to. I used to live like right here. I should know exactly where it is, but it's around here. And so that gets pretty far from, if you think of the West Virginia, Appalachia stuff, Marcellus being over here. It's a pretty big distance. But when we're looking at the Bakken, that's up here in the Williston Basin. So it's right along the border of Canada, which is the most likely source for, there is gas production from those wells. It's mostly known as an oil basin, like a tight sand shale oil basin. But there's also a lot of gas that comes from the Rockies that can go north. And then also, it doesn't just cut off right here at the border. It does extend into Canada. But this is, when people talk about the Bakken, the Bakken is one of the formations in the Williston. It's one of the targets. And so that's the most, when they were, all the pipeline stuff, a lot of that was related to giving both the oil that's up here in Canada and the oil that's here in the Williston Basin an easier access to parts of the country that need more oil and gas. So, and also easier access to the port cities. It's pretty landlocked right here. So, and if you imagine, there's the Rockies that come through also. So the Rockies make it extra hard to get over to the West Coast. So the easier they can get down to the East Coast, the better. Let's see. The first, Mary says, it's below. I can't find anything concrete indicating Canada has stopped purchasing gas from the U.S. Here's a historical view from Canada perspective. So exports is oil and gas moving from Canada to the U.S. And let's see if I can open that link. I can. Let's see what this says. Overview of Canada-US energy. I'm not going to read all of these things, but here's the chart of imports and exports. Which way is going which direction, though? Exports of Canadian energy? Is that what this is? I probably should have read. Let's see. Whitney, this is from the Canada side of it, right? Like Canada exports. Yes, okay. So, yeah, Canada exports versus Canada imports. So it's similar to the U.S. where there's both happening. And it's categorized by product. So yeah, we have natural gas being imported by Canada. Also crude oil and plant products. Right? That's what RPP is here. I just assumed it was plant products, but we'll go with that. Okay, exports is oil and gas moving from Canada to U.S. That's my note above. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so there you go. It's going both ways. The U.S., like I said, has a very similar thing where we both import and export, as y'all probably know. But exporting is a relatively new thing over the last 15 years or so. So the fact that we both import and export now is pretty big. It's mostly due to the type of plants and the type of needs we have along the port cities and along the borders. Okay, Whitney says, our Canadian expert says, most of the U.S. oil and gas in Canada is in eastern Canada to areas where there's very limited market access. Yeah, that would make sense. If we look... Probably that was this Toronto. Is that what's over here? Let me turn on my... Yeah, that would definitely make sense. There's such a ton of Appalachian, Michigan stuff right here. That would make sense completely. Montreal. Yeah, I imagine Calgary itself doesn't import a whole lot. Gold star, Tracy. Yay! I take that as a high compliment from Whitney. Okay. No, see, I've watched enough HGTV to know that Toronto is a thing and it's close to that area and it's expensive and all those things. Yeah. All right. Any other oil and gas related things before I go off on like HGTV tangents? Wait, there we go. Maybe I should just keep the gold star Tracy up there for longer. You know, I can also take gardening questions. I can't guarantee I'll answer them all, but I might not have the greenest thumb, but I do have it's like lime green. It's not like dark green. We'll just call it. Let's see, what else we got around here? Sometimes it's fun just to browse. So a lot of the lithium stuff, in case you're curious, has been in this Arkansas, like both the Fayette and the Smackover kind of area. There's also quite a bit of lithium happening in any place where there's a lot of produced water, but right now Arkansas is where I hear the most from it. I always get surprised when I have people with like Florida minerals, but the same sedimentary basin that the Eagleford is producing out of. So if you ever drive from like Austin to the coastline, you'll just drive through this massive amount of oil wells and rigs. That's the same trend, kind of follows all the way through. So you can kind of follow the same reservoirs and trends all the way around. The Woodford, for example, is the primary reservoir in the Arkoma and the Anadarko. There's other ones, of course, but if you think of Woodford being a primary one here, but there's also Woodford being produced all the way out into West Texas. And there's some it's being newly developed in kind of the western Midland Basin here. There's Woodford all the way, like all of this area has Woodford. It's just real fun to like trace these things through the different parts of the country and just play geologist, pretend like I know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. I am the expert. Y'all are here because I'm an expert in all this stuff. So Whitney says, so this is about oil and gas, botanicals, and real estate. HGTV, yes, yes. Don't you know oil and gas is real estate? No, I know you know that. But yes, oil and gas is real estate. So we can talk about anything real estate related, and decorations are important for real estate. So yes. Okay. I think we are wrapping up with time. I think I have a 1 o'clock meeting that I probably should be on. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's live stream. I am going to be doing this every week, 2 o'clock. Oh, no, not 2 o'clock. Every week, Tuesday is the 2 I meant to say. Every week on Tuesday at noon Central Time. So what's that? That is 1 o'clock Eastern Time and 10 o'clock Pacific, I believe. 11 a.m. Mountain. So, yeah. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to either put your questions in the comments below or email them to kelly@pecantree.com or tracy@pecantree.com. Sorry, pecantreeog.com. We're the OGs of this Pecantree thing. Oil and gas is what that stands for, technically. Yeah, thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Always, it's been fun. And I will figure out the whole passion vine thing. I think I just have an ornamental one. Like, they're pretty, but gosh. Let's see. Mary says, "Oh no, so sad. Martha and I need to sign up for Pecantree. Thank you. Have another fun hour with Tracy." Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'd love to have y'all. I think I have my music still playing. It is. Okay. I hope y'all have a wonderful Tuesday and happy back to school to all the school goers, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.